What happens when political power and apocalyptic religious beliefs mix? What happens when leaders believe that global war is not something to prevent, but something that must happen? Today, we're talking about a dangerous idea gaining influence in American politics: the belief among some radical evangelical political groups that a catastrophic Middle East war is part of God's plan, and why many people around the world are starting to question whether these beliefs are pushing the world toward unnecessary conflict. In parts of the American evangelical political movement, there is a theological interpretation that ties modern geopolitics directly to biblical prophecy. Some of these groups strongly support Israel not only for political reasons, but because they believe events in the Middle East will trigger Armageddon, the final battle described in the Bible. This ideology has influenced political alliances in Washington, especially within conservative political circles surrounding Donald Trump during his presidency and beyond. For these believers, conflict in the Middle East is not always seen as something to avoid. Instead, it can be viewed as something that fulfills prophecy. That mindset becomes extremely dangerous when it begins influencing real-world military and foreign policy decisions. Because wars are not prophecies to be fulfilled. Wars are human tragedies. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Extremism can exist in many forms: political, religious, or ideological. And when any group believes they are acting on behalf of divine destiny, they often justify violence in the name of righteousness. That logic is not unique to one religion or one country. It is the same dangerous thinking used by militant extremists across the world. When leaders believe God wants a war, when they believe destruction must happen to fulfill prophecy, they stop trying to prevent conflict. And that makes them no different in mindset from the extremist groups they claim to be fighting against. The language may be different, the theology may be different, but the belief that violence fulfills a divine mission is the same dangerous ideology. When powerful nations begin operating under apocalyptic narratives, the consequences reach far beyond religion. Global powers like Iran, Israel, United States, and others are already locked in intense geopolitical tension. Every escalation risks dragging entire regions into war. Many citizens across the world are increasingly questioning whether these conflicts are being fueled not just by national security concerns, but by ideological agendas tied to prophecy and political power. And in America, millions of everyday people, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, and everything in between, simply want peace, stability, and a future where their children are not living under the threat of endless war. The American public is not a doomsday cult. Most people just want peace. At the same time, trust in powerful elites has been shaken. The scandals surrounding figures like Jeffrey Epstein expose disturbing networks of wealthy individuals whose behavior and influence raise serious questions about corruption and accountability at the highest levels. For many Americans, these revelations reinforced a growing frustration with billionaires and political elites who appear disconnected from the struggles of ordinary people. People are asking a simple question: why should the fate of the world be influenced by powerful individuals whose actions show so little accountability? Real democracy requires transparency, ethics, and leadership that prioritizes human life over ideology or profit. The world does not need leaders chasing prophecy. The world needs leaders preventing war. Extremism, whether religious, political, or ideological, always leads to the same place: division, violence, and instability. If humanity is going to move forward, we must reject the idea that destruction is destiny. Peace should never be the enemy of prophecy. Peace should be the goal. If you found this perspective thought-provoking, make sure you like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more discussions like this. And I want to hear from you. Do you think religion should influence foreign policy and global conflicts? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a real conversation.